Sean Elliott won a title in 1999 with the Spurs. They beat the Knicks. He's a Spurs TV analyst. Good to see you again, Sean. Can you go back to the first time you saw Tim Duncan at 22 and Victor Wembanyama now at 22?
Yeah, I mean, completely different players, to be honest with you, Dan. The first time I saw Timmy play, I mean, I saw Timmy in person before he came over to my house and whooped up on me on some video games. I said, "Boy, this kid, he's got some, he's got some talent." I mean, he's one of those kids you show him how to do something. You've been doing it for a long time. He does it better than you in about 10 minutes. And that's how he struck me as a person first, as a basketball player. Just in practice, I thought he was extremely polished, really fundamentally sound, but it wasn't like, he was super athletic or you could see the kind of shot blocking ability that he would develop later on. And he still had a long ways to go with his game, but he was pretty much there. With Victor at 22 years old, he's still getting there. I still think he hasn't really begun to reach his true potential. I don't think he's even close, actually, Dan. I feel like he's going to fill out a lot more. He's going to continue to figure out the game a lot more. He's going to continue to work on his game because that's the kind of person he is, and that's the kind of basketball player he wants to be. You saw what he did with the Monks last summer. He worked with Kevin Garnett. He worked with Jamal Crawford. He worked with Akeem Olajuwon. He wants to be great, and so I believe this is just the beginning for him.
Okay, when he's with the Tibetan monks, what is he trying to learn from them?
You have to ask him that. I mean, I think it would be more, being in a meditative state, getting your mind and body connected, being able to block out the noise and relieve stress because, for all the weight that he's carrying right now, it's absolutely unbelievable the attention that he gets. You should have seen the games in France last year. He's the Prince of France, literally. I mean, people flock to him. They love him, and he's carrying the burden and the weight of maybe an entire nation on his shoulders, and that's a lot to ask for somebody who's so young. And so, he probably goes up in the mountains to meditate a little bit. I know he did some hard work. He was out there like Pai Mei in Kill Bill, walking up mountains, dribbling the basketball. And so, he's working on his whole mind-body connection and probably just being really centered.
Do you remember somebody who wanted to be the best at this age? Like he wants to be the best player in the game.
Right,
But
right. At this age, Dan, the only one that really, stands out to me that has that kind of drive that I saw at that young of age, personally was Kobe Bryant. That's the guy. He's got that kind of, instinct, killer instinct, and that kind of drive and determination where, you hear stories about Kobe where he's always constantly in the gym instead of going out and doing things with other people, where he, sacrificed his social life and everything that went with that to be great. And that, when I see Victor and I see his habits, that's what it reminds me of.
the matchup with the Knicks, how do the Spurs match up?
Well, I was looking at the games earlier, the boxes of the games earlier this morning, and I've called two of those games. I didn't get to call the Cup game, but I watched it, and the Knicks have always been a tough matchup for us. They have been over the last 3 years. They've been a tough matchup for us ever since Jalen Brunson got there, and they have a team that I thought this year just does a great job spreading the wealth. They play the way we play, where you get everybody involved on the offensive end of the floor. It's not one man dominant. So they have a lot of guys that can score the ball. I thought they made a great trade in getting Jose Alvarado. I thought that was big time. When I saw that happen, I said, okay, that's the type of guy. I've always admired him from afar. He was a pest for us when he was in New Orleans. But he brings so much energy off the bench, and they have physical guys like Anunoby who's going to get in you and get after you. Mitchell Robinson is a tough physical player. Obviously Karl Anthony Towns, we remember he gave us 60 in the Frost Bank Center when he was the Minnesota Timberwolves. So, at one point you could have argued that he was the best offensive big man in the game. And so with Bridges and the way Josh Hart brings the energy, that's a loaded ball club that's playing very good basketball. And this year, if you look at our games, Dan, they beat us in the cup. We had to come back from about 20 here at home to beat them by 2 points, and then they beat us pretty soundly in Madison Square Garden in early March. And so this is going to be a really tough matchup for us.
Do you put Stephon Castle on Jalen Brunson?
I would. I would. And I think he continues to learn a lot of lessons. And he's taken on that challenge all year long. It's not like all of a sudden he got to the Western Conference Finals and we're going to put him on SGA and see what happens. That's not that's not Steph Castle. He's been accepting the role of guarding the one of the toughest or if not the toughest or the best offensive wing player all season long. That's just who he is. He's not afraid of that challenge. He kind of relishes it and he steps up. And so he did a great job with SGA. It's as good a job as you could possibly do with that guy, right? And so he's done it all year long against the greats in the game. And so he continues to learn. He's got to be patient with Brunson because Brunson, we know, is incredibly crafty and clever and knows how to beat pretty much any type of defense you throw at him.
Talking to Sean Elliott, the Spurs TV analyst, won a title back in 1999 when the Spurs beat the Knicks. I don't know if I ever asked you this. How do you repay your brother for giving you a kidney?
You can't. There's nothing you could do. I mean, there's nothing that I can give him that will repay him that. So, but he's family, and that's what family does. He doesn't expect any kind of, for me to reciprocate in any way. It's just what family does for each other. And so, my brother's doing extremely, extremely well. He's like the poster child for kidney donation. He had 3 kids after. They've all gone to college on scholarships, athletic scholarships. He's doing extremely well, and so there's no way you can repay him. You just tell him thank you, and he's very content with that.
Okay, but like you go to dinner, are you going to pick up the tab, or he needs a
Oh,
ride to
I
the
mean,
airport?
yes, of
Okay.
course, always. His money's no good around me. You know that.
Yeah, I don't think I ever asked you that, and how are you feeling, by the way?
I'm doing great, man. I mean, I had I celebrated a lot this weekend, and so I'm getting back to normal. I got my big cup of Joe right here, uh, to get me, get me going this morning. And hey, well, I'm doing great, Dan. I try to take care of myself and eat right. I'm trying to stay here, buddy.
Okay, if I said you could put David Robinson up against Wemby or Duncan up against Wemby.
Oh, well, that's a hard one. I got to tell you, because Dave has the athleticism. Timmy is just one of those guys that has. Timmy had great hands, uh, great defensive instincts. They both did. I mean, uh, Tim Duncan should have won several Defensive Player of the Year awards. David won Defensive Player of the Year. So I'm going to say, oof, that's a tough one because I love both these guys. I might err on the side of going Big Dave because he's just, really, Dave was built like Mr. Olympia.
Yeah, no.
And he could look at, kind of like that Mitchell Robinson kind of mold where you're big and strong and athletic. And he probably faced more bigs back in the day, Dan. If I can swing it toward Dave, because when Timmy came in the league, he was playing more power forward. He guarded bigs, yes, he did. But he got them all. He got Shaq, he got Patrick, he got
Hakeem.
Hakeem. He got all the big guys. Mark Eaton, who's 7'5". I mean, he got all the big dudes.
But could you imagine Greg Popovich if David Robinson wanted to shoot where Wemby is shooting?
Oh, he'd have his ass on the bench right away. With some not sailor language, Air Force, drill sergeant language. I mean, Pop. The thing is, it wouldn't be just Pop. I mean, it would have been Avery Johnson. Avery Johnson would have been in Big Dave if he was out there shooting 3 balls. I mean, what we're seeing from him is just unnatural. It really is. But I don't think that's even the strong suit of his game.
But when did this change where we allowed 7-footers to shoot like they were shooting guards?
I think it was a guy like Dirk who really started to get guys to try to stretch the floor a little bit more. Big guys to try to stretch the floor. Now we had guys back in the day. Bill Lambier could shoot it. I always refer to Jack Sikma on our telecast and the way he could shoot the ball from the outside. Sabonis could as well, but Dirk really took that to a different level with his ability to go outside and drag big guys away from the basket. And then everybody wanted to be Dirk. And that's what I would say in the telecast. You know, every big guy who steps in the league wants to be Dirk Nowitzki, but not everybody's Dirk Nowitzki. And so you have a lot of guys out there shooting a lot of three balls, and they're really negating their height advantage because they're all out there. Everybody's the same size outside the three-point line. It doesn't matter if you're 6'4" or 7'5". You all become guards out there. And so some guys can do it, some guys can't, and some guys shouldn't even try.
I know that SGA caught a lot of grief because people watched him kind of foul baiting. But let's be fair to him. Was Jordan guilty of doing this? Where
Oh, no,
Kobe
no,
and nobody did this.
no, I never saw Michael Jordan, try to foul bait. That wasn't a thought process back then. I never saw Kobe try to foul bait. Never. That was not a thought process. I think we got in the early 2000s there. I mean, we had guys that would flop from time to time in the league. I mean, that's obvious. But I think the early 2000s, we started to see more of it. And then it just absolutely got out of control where you had guys who manipulated the rules. And they were smart to do that. And they made careers off of that. And I think a lot of young players saw that coming up and they saw that they could make a living getting to the foul line. And with SGA, my thing is, Dan, I, that shouldn't be his legacy
Yeah.
at the end of his career, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the guys before all this, I mean, going back to when I saw him right after the pandemic and they came to San Antonio several times, I was like, we had no answer for this guy. He was absolutely unbelievable. And I didn't see him hit the floor or lay on the floor one single time. And if he gets back to that and continues to play the way he played in Game 7, people are going to forget about all this foul baiting.
You had the anniversary, the Memorial Day miracle yesterday. You hit the shot over Rasheed Wallace. Like it's such
Yeah.
a wild sequence there, Sean.
Yeah.
What do you remember from it?
Well, I've told the story many times, Dan, that it was just one of those days where the ball was just flying out of my hands. I didn't have to think about my shot at all. If I got a good look at the basket, I felt like it was going in. I had a really great warm up before that game, where I shoot my typical 25 threes around at five spots and missed one, and it's just one of those days. And when I caught the ball, I've spoken about it many times. When I turned, I never saw Rasheed Wallace. If I saw Rasheed Wallace coming at me, no way I make that shot. Right? It's like I told the story a couple weeks ago. I played golf with Lee Trevino one time, and he got up on the tee box. He said, "All you amateurs, you guys see the sand and you see the water." He said, "The pros, we just see the fairway." Right? And that's all I saw when I turned. All I saw was the basket. I didn't see anything else.
But you also had the presence to the ball got tipped, you caught it, you looked down so you know where you are on the floor.
Yeah, I think, in that moment, I was looking more at the 3-point line to make sure I was behind it. And, the shot when your heels are up, I mean, that's how you finish a shot, anyways. No one shoots a ball, no shooter shoots the ball with their heels on the floor. And so for me, I felt like it was a natural shooting motion. When I look at it and people ask me, what was I thinking? I wasn't. There's no time to think in that situation. There really isn't. There isn't time to assess the whole situation. You just turn, I saw the basket, and the shot was there.
Great to catch up with you again. Hopefully we didn't hold up a golf game this week like we could have last
No,
week.
no, no. It's no tea time this morning. Can you believe that? I mean, there's my golf buddies today. I got Dan Patrick at 9:20. What time is our tea time? They're like, we didn't make a tea time today. I said, oh hell. Okay. It's probably for the best.
How's Tim Duncan doing? I see him and he just looks like he's chill Tim Duncan.
that dude is so chill. Let me tell you, he's still the same Timmy Duncan. He doesn't care about anything else. He's so comfortable in his own skin, Dan. I mean, he'll text me during the games, and I like to take shots at him. And our deal is if I take a shot at you, you can take a shot at me, you can text me, and I have to read it on the air, right? As long as it's not too vulgar. So I give him crap about his age. I mean, all the time. He tells me, he's like, how in the hell do you get away with that? You're older than I am. People think I'm older than you. So I give him crap all the time. But this guy, I mean, sometimes I'll call him. I don't hear anything back. Well, he's riding motorcycles through South America, or no, I'm not kidding. I mean, he's enjoying the hell out of his life, and he deserves it.
But when he was there as a rookie, I came down to San Antonio, and I remember you guys gave him all of the equipment, like you were hazing him. He had to carry laundry and basketballs, and it was pretty cool to see that you guys were roughing up your number one draft pick.
Well, that's what makes him so special, right? Because he wasn't a diva. He could have told us all to go to hell, and we would have done exactly that. And so, we wouldn't have had any choice. And he just took it like he was a regular teammate, and that's why he is who he is.
And he told me a story that he was at the All-Star game and he was riding on the elevator with Kevin Garnett. And he said Garnett is yelling in his face, just yelling at him. And Tim didn't say a word. He just got off the elevator. And this was Garnett trying to intimidate him.
Well, I saw that firsthand on the court. I was 2 feet away from Garnett yelling in Timmy's ear, and Timmy had absolutely no reaction at all. And that's just who he was. I don't think I ever saw, not, I don't think, I never saw Timmy talk trash on the court. I never saw him go back at anybody or jaw at anybody. He just let his game do the talking. I mean, most mild-mannered, calm guy until, you get between the lines and the lights are on, like we say, the popcorn's popping, and then he turned into an assassin. But and that's the definition of an assassin, right? You don't announce that you're there. You're just there to kill. And that's what he did.
Thanks again. Have fun in the finals. We appreciate it, Sean.
Yeah, anytime, Dan.
That's Sean Elliott, Spurs TV analyst, and won the title in 1999. He had his jersey retired by the Arizona Wildcats. I saw Sean play in college. That's how old I am. He had a really good college team. Was that Arizona, Oklahoma?
Yes.
In the Final Four? Danny Manning? Whew. That was fun. Danny and the Miracles.